ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Thursday, April 20th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. My name is Paul Swann. I'm here for the next hour taking your text. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up today on the program, we're going to delve into the Charleston Dirty Birds season as Aiden Douglas, the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds, will join me in about 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll be speaking with her. You know, the Savannah Bananas are coming to Charleston. There are people who are excited about that. I was talking to the boss this morning, and he's excited he's going. So it's going to be fun. We'll talk about that and the upcoming season for the Dirty Birds. We'll get your text in, of course. That's always going to be something that we do. And again, that number 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So yesterday we weren't here. We had Pirates baseball, and the Pirates are looking really good right now. The Pirates, get this, beat the Rockies 14-3. And they scored most of those runs early. So they get the series sweep in Denver. Now the Pirates will take on the Reds. That's the first of a 4-game series. That's coming up tonight. 6:10 is going to be our airtime. 6:35 will be first pitch. That's at PNC Park. We'll see how the Pirates do against the Reds this time around. The Reds seem to have the Pirates number early, at least with the opener. We'll see if that turns around. Reds are not playing so well. The Reds lose to the Rays yesterday, 8-0. So the Pirates and Reds coming up tonight. And that's right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The Guardians beat the Tigers yesterday, 3-2. Cleveland's off today. They will open up against Miami. That's going to be on Friday. So look forward to more baseball action. And we've got some fun matchups coming up this weekend. Baseball yesterday, while we're talking about it, Eastern Kentucky got a little revenge on the Herd, beat the Thundering Herd yesterday. It was 9-2. So Marshall drops to 15-20. The Colonels improved to 16-21. Yesterday, after the game, Greg Beal said that he was pretty much there was disappointment and the team's focus. He said that we competed extremely well yesterday. I feel like we faltered on that today in reference to yesterday's loss. So, Thundering Herd had a chance. It did take an early lead in the bottom of the first with a run scored by Owen Ayers on a single. And I thought they were going to be able to compete in this one. So, unfortunately, the Herd not able to get the win. Next up, the Herd's going to face Georgia Southern, 3-game Sun Belt Conference Series. The first pitch set for 3 p.m. Friday at the Kennedy Center. So more baseball coming up. Busy weekend as well. There's a lot of softball and baseball action. Sprinkle into that what's happening with football this weekend. The spring game is still scheduled at this point. No word indicating that would change. Still going to be scheduled 4 o'clock, Jones C. Edwards Stadium. I know that's a question that constantly has been asked over the last few days. I think the weather's going to be fine. We're going to have a spring game. Everyone's going to have a good time, I hope. But that's coming up on Saturday. Don't forget the Cornhole Tournament. That's coming up on Friday for those of you that are participating in the Cornhole Tournament. Listening to Coach Huff last week talk about that, they really want to turn this into a weekend event, the spring game, have a lot of things going on. Maybe get some folks that normally can't make the trip, they drive in, see the Herd. I just don't know if we're there yet where you're going to see a sold-out Jones C. Edwards Stadium. I mean, you might get half the stadium full. I don't know if we're there yet. Close, I think, though, if you can build some excitement. There'll be a lot of excited fans there. I think your core group of fans will be there. But I could be wrong. It should be, honestly, it should be a good day, I'm hoping, for football. So I like to see a good crowd there. Texter wrote in just now and wants to talk a little bit about the Marshall softball game with Alabama. Texter said that it was an unforgettable atmosphere for Marshall and Alabama's game With that being said, numerous complaints from fans of all teams regarding lack of seating. Wonder if any changes will be made regarding the Virginia Tech game Tuesday. Go Herd. That's a good question. I don't have that answer just yet. I would imagine you would take what you learned from this game against Alabama and apply that. Now, this was a rare situation. You had Alabama coming in, and Alabama brought with it a lot of, I don't want to say baggage. There were a lot of logistical challenges there because you have a lot of people who want to come in and see Alabama. You want to see what Alabama was all about. You had a local kid on the roster, so you have a lot of people coming to Huntington to see what Alabama was all about. I mean, Liberty was there as well, and Liberty traveled well. So there were a lot of things that went into that game. Just from a seating standpoint, though, I don't know if they're going to bring in temporary seating, if that's going to be the cure. Yeah, that stuff would have to be probably brought in the outfield. Yeah, I haven't got really a logistical list yet of what you can expect for the Virginia Tech game, so I'm hoping we'll get that if there's going to be anything like that. But I would imagine it's going to be a lot better just because you're not going to have a doubleheader the way you did with Liberty and Alabama, then Marshall and Alabama. So I don't think you're going to have all of those logistical headaches. Unfortunately, we don't see those kind of crowds during the regular season. The conference season, the normal, not this circus atmosphere, but, just the normal day-to-day, week-to-week schedule. You don't see this kind of crowd. So if that starts picking up, that's probably going to force more seating to be made available. Maybe the long way around answering that, I would hope that if there were some changes, we'll find out. Maybe it's not quick enough to really do something other than maybe some temporary bleachers. I mean, it was a great atmosphere, though. I mean, the pictures look fantastic. And hopefully in the future, maybe more things can be done to improve Dot Hicks Field. I know those things are maybe in the works, and down the line you get the baseball park, obviously, to contend with. And I know softball is going to benefit from the baseball park as well. But it was a great crowd. I mean, Herd fans who showed up should be proud of themselves. Hopefully more Herd fans will come back. I heard a lot of stories about people taking their kids to that game. Big-time atmosphere. Maybe get them excited about softball, inspire them a little bit. Yeah, that would be a nice problem to have. Hey, how can we seat everybody that wants to come see Marshall softball? That would be a nice problem to have and to address, and hopefully you'll have more of the same. I don't know if you're going to have a record-breaking crowd the way you did with Alabama, with Virginia Tech, but you know what? I'd be here for it if it did happen. So let's hope that Marshall softball continues to grow. I know it was an exciting time. The Thundering Herd, unfortunately, didn't get the victory. That's the only thing. And again, when you talk about numerous complaints, and again, reading from the text line, when you talk about numerous complaints from fans, not just about lack of seating, but not winning the game. I saw that, and again, this is all anecdotal. This isn't maybe the true snapshot, but people will get on message boards and get on Twitter and just complain. Oh, Marshall should have won this game. Yeah, that's not fair. Marshall fans should get first pick of all the seats. Well, it was advertised way in advance. Hey, first come, first serve. If you want to be there, you better be there. And so I get the frustration. Yeah, you want to see the game, and maybe you weren't able to camp out. But on the flip side, I thought it was a great day for softball in the community and for the program. We'll turn our attention to baseball when we continue. What's happening in Charleston? Well, we're going to find out. My guest, it'll be their first time welcoming her to the program, Eden Douglas. She's the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. She's coming up next to tell us what's happening with the Dirty Birds. Later on, we'll get more of your text. That's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back. It's our Thursday, April 20th edition, The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to open our text line back up for you here in a few minutes at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I want to welcome to the program now. She's the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. She has more titles, but just to keep it short, she's the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. She is Eden Douglas. And Eden, thanks for doing this today. Looking forward to talking to you all season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking with you.
Okay, so you have 15 different jobs. I know how this works, but I think marketing director probably covers everything. And wow, you're starting off really with probably one of the best things going today in minor league baseball. The Dirty Birds are taking on the Savannah Bananas. Nobody's talking about this whatsoever. Nobody knows anything about this. It's like this game doesn't exist, Eden.
I know, it's absolutely crazy, and they rolled in at about 10 a.m. this morning, and we have not stopped since trying to get this ballpark ready to entertain fans, especially because they're playing our guys. So it's cool because my job also includes entertainment, so I'm hoping some of our guys can take some pointers from these Bananas while they're here.
So what's the caravan like? I know it's got to be a circus when the Bananas roll into town, so what have you seen so far?
Yeah, so they pulled in at 10 o'clock this morning with a semi and just absolutely unloaded everything. They've got a huge merchandise section that they'll have on the left field side of the field. They're going to have merchandise at the front gate. The home plate gate here will be a complete party with the Bananas band, Bananas players. I mean, it's just going to be amazing. It'll be nonstop entertainment all around this ballpark tomorrow and Saturday.
So 2 games, and of course, I would ask for tickets, but I hear that this one's a sellout.
That's what we're hearing. So I think there's been some confusion since we announced that we were hosting these events here. The Dirty Birds actually do not have anything to do with ticketing for these events. The best way that I can describe it to people is that this is a field rental. The Bananas are doing absolutely everything from ticketing to the on-field entertainment to the PA, all the way down to the music, and it's really awesome. The only things that the Dirty Birds are going to have to do are concessions, but as far as everything else goes, it's all through the Bananas, and from what we're hearing is that both nights are sold out.
Eden Douglas is with us, marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. So the Bananas are in town. This is a great way to maybe introduce or reintroduce people to what Dirty Birds baseball is all about, using the Bananas as sort of that gateway into the ballpark this year. What are you hoping that fans take away from these first 2 games, and what are you hoping that maybe you guys can steal from the Bananas to really pep up the experience for fans this year?
Yeah, so it's really cool because we've had all these extra events at our ballpark this year. We had the WVU and Marshall game a couple weeks ago, which fans, I mean, we had over 5,000 people in this ballpark. But with the Bananas in town, it's really cool because this gives our fans and so many other people a chance to see our team early on. I mean, this is just our first week of spring training. So it's really awesome that our guys get to play these guys. And, you know, there's a guy that I'm witnessing right now rolling around in a keg, and he's jumping out of it and doing backflips off of it. And I know our guys aren't going to do that, but it's just so fun that our guys get to experience something fun before we get into Atlantic League baseball and learn from these Bananas on how we can entertain our fans and keep fans in Charleston.
Now, the good thing you did mention is this is right at the start of spring, so you don't get too many frowns, I'm sure, for manager Billy Horn on this, because it's like the Globetrotters of baseball have come to town. And I hate to say this, maybe the Dirty Birds don't want to be the Washington Generals in this situation.
Yeah, we've had some stuff like that. But honestly, now that they're here and we're witnessing that, like, a lot of these guys are good. I mean, there's a few guys that are on the Bananas team that have played for a couple teams in our league. There's a guy, Jake Skoll, who played in Gastonia last year, who will be here this weekend playing for the Bananas. So it really is baseball, but it is also fun. And I know our coach is actually really excited to meet all these guys, see some new faces, as well as get an idea of what our guys are capable of for this season.
So a lot of fun at the same time, great early test challenge to see what you exactly have. So it looks like it's going to be a fun time for the Dirty Birds. I know it's early right now as we get set for the upcoming season, but what's the outlook, you think, for the team? I know everybody wants to win a championship, but what's this year hold for us as far as what can we expect?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the stadium goes and the entertainment aspect of things, I mean, there's so much going on. We're introducing our Latin identity this year. We're playing as the Pepperoni Rolls. We have so many exciting on-field promotions. There's a few rule changes that are going on. But as far as our team goes, I mean, we've got 5 or 6 guys on our team who are MLB veterans. And I think our manager has done an incredible job with recruiting this year and finding very capable guys. And we have a very strong pitching staff with Joe Testa coming back as our player and pitching coach. And Billy Horn, our manager, is back for his second year. And we have a few returners, but overall, our roster is looking very well for this season.
Who do you think fans are going to want to identify with most as the season gets underway? And who do you think is going to have the hottest selling jersey? I guess is the question I'm asking.
Well, the cool thing is we have a lot of guys who are returning, but we also have some really good new guys that are here. One of the guys that I want to point out is Eddie Butler. He is a former MLB veteran, but he also played ball at Radford University, and I actually grew up watching him play at Radford. So if it was me, I would be buying Eddie Butler's jersey because, 1, he's an incredible human, and 2, he is just very, very good on the mound.
Okay, so there you have it. Everyone is going to buy Eddie Butler's jersey.
Yeah.
You mentioned a minute ago, you've got that Latin heritage. Did I hear that right? Of course, the pepperoni rolls. Yeah. That's the new thing. Last year was the Mothman jerseys. This year it's going to be the pepperoni rolls. Those are, I'm sure, going to be a hot item to pick up on. But why pepperoni rolls? I think I know the answer, but why pepperoni rolls?
Yeah, so I'm from Charleston. I grew up in Charleston. I've lived here my whole life, and I made it my goal. I mean, even last year, just as an assistant, before I kind of took over this role, that I wanted to do something every year that represented this state or this city that we live in. And not many people can say that they've played as a food item on the field during a baseball game. So what better way to do it than pepperoni rolls? And we're going to make it extra fun for fans because we're hosting a pepperoni roll festival before the game. Gates will open at around 3 o'clock, and a ticket to the game gets a ticket to the festival, and then fans can vote on their favorite pepperoni roll. And we've got vendors from across the state who have already committed to coming, so it's definitely going to be really awesome.
Aiden Douglas is with us. She's the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. So pepperoni rolls for all. And how's the Toast Man going to adapt to the pepperoni roll?
I know. Well, he already had to adapt because he can't say power of the toaster anymore. He has to say fire of the toaster. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with. And last night we had a Meet the Team event with a bunch of fans. It was an incredible turnout. And he was already getting all of his cheers ready for these guys that are here. So I'm super excited to see what he's going to do.
Okay. I'm hoping that there's some new material there. I'm not saying his material is dated. I just know that he's been at it a long time. So new material, right?
Always. He's always got something up his sleeve.
My guest is Eden Douglas. She's the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds, and she's going to be with us all season long as the Dirty Birds right now getting set for the upcoming season. The season officially starts on April 28th on the road against Staten Island, and then the first home game at Go-Mart Ballpark is going to be set for May 9th against Lancaster. You mentioned earlier there's going to be some rules that are going to stay the same. There are going to be some different rule changes as well. There is going to be a pitch clock like MLB. And I know that's got to be exciting for a lot of fans to really see what that looks like up close and personal if they haven't been to a Major League ballpark yet. That's really going to speed up the game, I think.
Yeah, we've seen, some mixed remarks and reviews about it. Obviously, it's different, and that's not how baseball has been played. But people were very upset whenever Major League Baseball first announced it, but after they've been watching these games on TV, even whether they're there or not, they're realizing that these guys aren't just moping around or just walking around. They're actually there to play baseball. And I think that's what we're going to experience here is sometimes a baseball game can go 4 hours, sometimes it can go 3. So it's really cool to see that we're going to have that chance to speed up these games, and just the guys are constantly in action. And I think fans are actually going to like it once they get here.
Do you find that the way that the Atlantic League is set up, not affiliated directly with Major League Baseball, but it is sponsored by MLB, and so the opportunity to test out new rule changes that could be adopted by MLB, that potential is already there. Are you finding that it just takes fans a little longer to warm up to maybe some of the new rule changes before they're either adopted or modified or discarded?
Yeah, it does a little bit. And I think it takes seeing it in person in order to see, it actually is effective. But the way that we're doing it this year in the Atlantic League is our guys, obviously this is going to be new for them. So the Atlantic League is kind of giving them a grace period for 2 weeks throughout the season, just that way they can adapt to it, become familiar with it. We've got a new rule. It's a designated pinch runner. So at the beginning of the game, on your lineup card, you have to designate a pinch runner. So just little things like that aren't really going to make the biggest impact, but are also going to change things a little bit. We're going to give those guys about a 2 to 3 week grace period to kind of become familiar with it. And then once fans get in here, they'll see, wow, this really doesn't change anything from the game. It actually is only benefiting it. So it'll be really exciting to see.
And you're going to have, of course, opportunities for fans to learn along, right? You're going to educate them as the games are being played because, for a lot of old-time fans, they're not going to know what these new rule changes are. For a lot of young, new fans, it won't matter because they'll be learning the rules.
Yeah. So we always play a video during our pregame of everything, just explaining the rules from start to finish. And especially this year with the designated pinch runner, there's a pitching limitation about how a pitcher can't step off the runner per at bat, kind of explaining the pitch clock. And fans definitely will have the opportunity to see that at our games, but also it'll be on our website and posted on our social media as well.
Eden Douglas is with us, the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. The season is coming up. May 9th will be the actual home opener against Lancaster. Of course, the Dirty Birds are in action against the Savannah Bananas. And if you can't get out to the ballpark, something that's new this year for the Dirty Birds that I saw, I think you sent it out today. Now you can stream Dirty Bird games on Flow Sports. So if I can't make it to Charleston, I want to keep up with the Dirty Birds. Now there's a new opportunity for me to maybe watch more games and, become a bigger fan, or at least more of a fan, because I have a constant way to watch the games if I'm interested.
Yeah, so this has been in the works for a while now with the league. Flow Sports reached out wanting to partner with us, and it kind of was just a no-brainer because they partner with so many other baseball teams from NCAA to the Frontier League, and it's going to be different. It's definitely an adjustment. We used to stream our games on YouTube, and it was free. Well, this is now a subscription service, but it doesn't only include Atlantic League games or Dirty Birds games. If you subscribe to Flow Sports, you get every aspect of sports that they stream on their website or on their app, and it's very accessible to everyone. It's going to be great because there are a lot of requirements that Flow asks from us, but it also is benefiting us because we're able to upgrade our stream, and it's going to look so much better, and it's going to look like an actual television broadcast. And then if Dirty Birds fans want to watch the team on the road, that other Atlantic League team is right there and will also have their stream. And no one else has to worry about not being able to see the Dirty Birds play, which I think is very cool for everyone.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you have pricing, top of your head or right in front of you?
Yeah, I believe it's $29.99 a month, which can seem a little pricey. I get it, but it also includes so much more. And we are also doing, in coordinates with Flow Sports and the Atlantic League, all of our season ticket holders have about 2 weeks or until the season starts to subscribe, and they get a 25% discount.
Okay, so if you're a season ticket holder, you get to take advantage of the discount. If you're not, become a season ticket holder, or you'll have an opportunity to stream it that way. And so that's going to be home and road. Now, will the games with the Bananas be also available there, or is it not yet up and running?
So those are different. Flow Sports is not up and running yet, but it will be for the Atlantic League home opening day on April 28th. But the Bananas games this weekend will be streamed on the Savannah Bananas YouTube channel.
That's going to be a really, I think, watched stream because this is the hottest ticket going right now.
It is.
I've heard so much about this, and again, for people who are not really in the know on the Savannah Bananas, Google them, look them up. Do you think that a team like the Savannah Bananas has really helped revitalize baseball? It doesn't matter, just the quality of the baseball is fine, but what they've been doing in minor league baseball. Do you see more teams, including the Dirty Birds, trying to bring that kind of level of excitement back to minor league baseball?
I think so a little bit, but it's different because they're no longer in affiliated, or they're no longer in the college summer ball league that they used to be in. They're strictly independent now. So a game like we have today is just completely separate from anything that we're used to doing as well as them. It's strictly exhibition, but if we want to relate it to us, it's kind of cool because we installed the pitch clocks. And their games are timed. It's a 2-hour time limit. Batters aren't allowed to step out of the box. Pitchers have a certain amount of pitch. And then if you go into extra innings, there's a bunch of different rules. So I can see some sort of correlation with that. But as far as the entertainment aspect goes, I think that all breaks down to social media. I mean, you've got these guys with the Bananas, Jackson Olsen, for an example, who has over 1 million followers on social media. And some of our guys may be like, wow, I want to do that. So then they start doing some fun things. And that's when we start really promoting them on our socials, and then they reshare it, and it helps them. But it's just super fun, and we're really excited.
Joining us is Eden Douglas. She's the marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. She's going to be back with us all season long to tell us about all the latest things that are happening with the Dirty Birds. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, the pepperoni rolls will be a happening thing soon. I'm just going to ask ahead of time, Mothman Take 2, is that happening?
That will not happen this year. We want to do something different every year that represents the state of West Virginia or the city. So we are playing as the pepperoni rolls. There will be no Mothman, but I will tell you we are playing as the Dirty Birds, but we will have a West Virginia Capital themed jersey, and I think fans are really going to love it. Okay.
So next year, expect something completely different that's going to be West Virginia themed. That's good because I do miss the Mothman, though. I'm just not going to lie to you. I was going to say, go ahead. Yeah, the phone's breaking up a little bit. Go ahead.
Sorry, everyone seems to be missing the Mothman, but it won't be back this year. We definitely want to keep fans engaged and do some new things, new and fun things, but it may make a return. We never know. But for now, we're going to stick with no Mothman for the next couple of years.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Eden Douglas is with us, marketing director for the Charleston Dirty Birds. She'll be back with us next week as we're going to update on what happened with the Savannah Bananas and how spring is going so far for the team. Thanks for doing this. We'll do it again next week and looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
That's Eden Douglas. She does the marketing and all other jobs for the Charleston Dirty Birds. She does social media, media relations, things like that. So she's going to be all over the place. Quick timeout. Time for your phone calls and texts. We'll open the text line up first. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Our text line is open at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to today's edition of The Drive. It is April 20th. Thanks for being a part of today's edition. Yesterday we didn't have a show, so I'm sort of in that spot where I'm playing catch-up on a couple of things. And yesterday on social media, Cam Crawford was announced by Marshall as a new addition to the men's basketball team. He's 6'5" guard, signing with the squad. He comes from Indiana State. He played as a true freshman in the 21-22 season. He appeared in 22 games with 5 starts. He averaged 3 points, almost 2 rebounds, and maybe half an assist a game. He shot over 50%, so that's a good number there. And he was a little over 42% from behind the three-point line. He did have a season-high 14 points in a win over Midway. He had 7 rebounds in that as well. Before that, he was at Spain Park High School in Hoover, Alabama. He scored over 1,000 career points. His team finished 27-8, and they made the 7A Final Four, so he was highly regarded. He was also named the Shelby County Player of the Year, and he received the 2020-21 Male Athlete of the Year award at Spain Park High School. So there's some accolades there, maybe some potential for the Thundering Herd. I know there have been some that have been excited by this addition and others. And again, this is all anecdotal. I'm not going to base my entire worldview on what a few people said on Twitter or a message board. But there's been some, hey, this is a good pickup. There have been some that says, no, this isn't very exciting. It's not really easy to say this is going to be an immediate impact when I think Marshall basketball is still so new to the transfer portal and adding players. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Dan's brought some good players in. You can't argue with a guy like Tavion Kinsey. I don't think you can look at that and say, okay, Dan just lucked into Tavion Kinsey. I think there have been some standouts that have come along. Andrew Taylor, I think, is going to progress nicely. He's going to be a workhorse for this team coming up this season. And I'm hoping that there are a few more standouts and surprises. I know Dan gets criticized sometimes for really not going too deep in the bench. Dan's just going to start the players he thinks that are going to give him the best shot to win. I know some of you disagree with that. He goes back to that Iron 5 mentality, back in the day when he played. And again, I know that rubs a few people wrong. Others, they're all on board with the Dan D'Antoni Express. And so, he came close. You can't criticize the result of this season because if you even take the non-conference schedule out of the equation, Marshall was 1 game away from winning the regular season championship. 1 game away. And then what happened in the tournament, maybe not necessarily the outcome that you wanted, but Marshall was close. I know that only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. I get the cliche, but I still think that there's some life left in Marshall basketball, and we'll see. We'll see how this program progresses forward and adapts. I mean, Dan's got 3 years to figure it out as far as that transfer portal is concerned. I'd like to see the Herd a little bit more active in the transfer portal, but there's no guarantee. That's the thing. The transfer portal is not going to be a guarantee. I mean, sure, you can look at previous success and think that, okay, that's going to translate as a proven commodity, but I think there's something to be said for both the going and recruiting that 4-year athlete. I know that's a rarity, getting that 4-year athlete, and still going out and finding an impact player or a player that adds value with the transfer portal. So it's good to see some additions to the team. Hopefully we'll see more for the Thundering Herd. We got to take our next break, but I want you to be a part of the program. So the way you do that is our text line this hour. It's 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. If you would like to be a part of the program today, you want to chime in, you can do so. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our text line. You can also find me on the social medias today, and that is at Paul Swann. Now, you know it's me when I tweet, but today being the day that a lot of verification has been pulled from Twitter accounts across the country, I know Twitter is going to be interesting for the next several weeks, months, because now almost anything can be thrown out there. So just so you know, it is me. If you follow me at Paul Swann, it is me. And for the most part, most of my tweets are good. There are a few not so good, but for the most part, my stuff is good. Of course, I'm going to tell you that. I want you to follow me at Paul Swann on Twitter. How's that going to impact you? Is that really a non-issue here? Because now, without verification on Twitter, you don't know. I mean, you have a feel for, okay, this account, even though it's not verified, we know that this person is legit. We know that this account, the person behind this account, is as represented by the profile, as presented. But as far as sports news is concerned, now is there going to be a little bit more of a, okay, maybe I should think about that a little bit more before I retweet that, or I blindly believe that, now that there's really not a true form of verification. I mean, if it's 5 guys that are following an account, if it has 5 followers, is that you're going to go, no, I don't think that this is a legit account. If it's someone that has 20, 30,000 followers and you're thinking, okay, this might be a little bit more legit. So I'm kind of curious on that here. And again, this might be the wrong audience for that. Yeah, a lot of people, or at least I've found a lot of people still like it the old school way a little bit. Going back to the message boards, Twitter sometimes, Facebook groups. I know a lot of people are using those as well as far as trying to get sports information. But I'm kind of curious because sports Twitter was so big. It helped drive the platform because a lot of people would get on Twitter for sports. I remember when the platform was brand new and I was the first one doing it, I would tweet scores because it was easier for people to follow an account like that than texting a few friends. I'd have friends text me, hey, what's the score? I'm at the game. Okay, well, I'll tell you the score. Oh, hey, let me just tweet that. Follow me on Twitter. So now that dynamic has completely changed. And so, is the world's press conference platform going to be where you go for that? Or, are you going to diversify a little bit more? I'm curious to see what you think about that. While you're thinking about that, you can follow me on Twitter at Paul Swann. And again, you can text in anytime, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Reminder, we've got baseball coming up tonight. The Pirates are taking on the Reds. It's the first of a 4-game series. 6:35 is going to be first pitch at PNC Park. We've got the game going on the air at 6:10 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The Pirates just devastated the Rockies yesterday, 14-3, while the Rays beat up on the Reds 8-0. So I'm looking forward to that. And, of course, we've got a busy weekend ahead. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, obviously. But with the spring game coming up on Saturday, so far it's going to be outside. There has been no even heads up that, hey, this might change. So we should be good to go for spring football on Saturday at Joan C. Edwards Stadium at 4 o'clock. So as I tell everyone, get there early. I think you'll be fine. It's not going to be like softball, but I think you'll be okay. Get there early and have a good time, as this will be your first, best, last chance to see the Herd until next few months. So you want to take it all in right now. Practice. Get out there and do some practice tailgating. Go out there and get some practice cheers in. This will be like this is your fan scrimmage as well. So I'm excited to see what the weekend looks like. And, of course, don't forget there's a lot of softball and baseball action around the event, as well as we've got softball this weekend set for a 3-game series against James Madison from the 21st to the 23rd at the Dot. So I'd like to see a really good crowd show up for James Madison. Probably not going to get the Alabama level crowd, but I'd like to see a full crowd there for James Madison. Kind of follow up Alabama with, hey, Herd fans support the Herd. That was a once-in-a-lifetime event type atmosphere, right? Now let's see if the Herd can sustain that and bring fans back for a conference schedule with James Madison. So that's going to be at the Dot, and of course, baseball is going to be in action at the Kennedy Center with Georgia Southern. So, you've got some options there for the weekend. Come in for baseball or softball, go to the spring game. And again, it's not the green and white game. It's going to be the green taking on the black. If you weren't with us earlier this week, Coach Huff explained that they don't have enough white jerseys, and they're taking donations. I mean, that was slick on his part. Like, look, we're not trying to change the color scheme here, but we have more black jerseys and green jerseys right now than we do white. So we've got to use the black. We got to use the green. If you'd like to supply us with more of the white color, give us a call. We'll take your money. We'll take Venmo. We'll take PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. Check works too. Don't pay in cash. Check. Credit card. I think that they'll take any payment you provide them. So should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But we're about out of time. So tomorrow we'll get one day closer to the game itself, get a glimpse of what the Herd's going to look like. And of course, this is going to be. I'm not going to say that this is going to be the most enlightening scrimmage you've ever seen. But there'll be some basic plays. This is going to be more. You're evaluating players still. Put on a show for the fans, but. We're not going to see anything really revealing, complex here. This is going to be basically, they're going to scrimmage. It's going to be basic. Everybody's going to have a good time. Thanks for tuning in to today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Have a great night, everyone. Don't forget, you can find me on social media at Paul Swann. No blue check mark for me, but you can find me there, and I trust that you believe that everything I say has been verified. Have a great night, everyone.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington. This is your radio home for Pittsburgh Pirates baseball, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.